Hello. Welcome to my eighth episode of the podcast. I'm very happy to have you on. Um, Been following your channel for a while, so feel free to introduce yourself and get into how you got into airsoft.
Well, hey man, I'm Rooster from Scream and Go Squad, Scream and Go Squad Airsoft on YouTube. Been just making videos for the last few years. Got into airsoft thanks to my son. It just became a hobby. I fell in love with it. It was just fun. I've always had a habit of enjoying shooting things and shooting people without actually harming them is always fun. So pretty much just took off from there.
Ah, nice. So basically, shooting people with plastic BBs.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, nice. How long you been into the sport?
Since the end of '02, we've been playing seriously since end of '02. Yeah, so a couple years
Oh,
now.
oh 02.
Yeah,
Oh 02. So 2002.
yeah,
Ah,
yeah. I was
nice,
out,
nice.
growing and doing things in real life and being a real soldier and stuff. And it just wasn't at that time. Like when airsoft became popular, I was busy doing that stuff. And I had played paintball and stuff like that, but just didn't really take airsoft so serious. My son had been collecting like airsoft markers throughout his life growing up, never really playing airsoft until he came out one day and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go play airsoft finally. You want to go?" And I was like, "Sure, let's do it." And I've been doing it ever since.
That's pretty slick, and that's usually how it starts out, something like that, and then it just kind of just grows from there into a uncontrollable spending habit, if that makes sense. You could
Yeah,
certainly get
it
into
could be
that.
expensive. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
especially when you get into like the Milsim side of things. You just keep wanting to buy more stuff that you think you might need the next time. You'll see something someone had and you'll want that as well. It can get expensive quickly.
Oh yeah, definitely. Me myself, and of course, I'll keep this story very short because I repeated the same story almost in every episode. But with my beginning, I started back in 2003, so about a year after you did. But um, but me in my particular case, I was only in it for a few years, backyard stuff, and it wasn't really anything serious. This is me and friends just kind of goofing off. And I got out of it around 2006, 2007, during my high school years after I graduated, and then focused on my career. And I was out of it since then. And I recently got back into it in the beginning of 2024.
Okay.
And very brief story how I got back into that, because again, I explained this in another episode. But basically, I had a foot injury with surgery was involved on the foot, and I didn't really like the recommendations for recovery. So basically, they wanted me to go outside and exercise and all this stuff. And of course, you have to constantly use the foot. If you don't, then the recovery is not going to be exactly so they say it won't be the recovery won't be as smooth if I don't keep using the foot. Right. So in my particular case, I didn't want to do what they're suggesting me. So a colleague told me like, hey, because rent a gun. So he's like, why don't you just try out airsoft? And therefore you can control the playing style, you can control the basically what you're doing to your foot, and it would encourage you to be outside essentially. So I was like, you serious? And he said, well, give it a try, see what happens. And that's how that started. So I went to my local field, got a fresh up on all the latest airsoft stuff that's out there. And oh my gosh, I mean, you can only imagine from my angle from this. I haven't been in it in like what, 15, 17 years, right? And I get back into this and I'm like, holy cow, hop ups are now a thing. You got full metal airsoft guns now. I mean, back in 2000, I'm sorry, but back in 2000, early 2000s, it was mostly plastic. I mean, I don't, at least when I was exposed to, I don't remember metal airsoft guns being a thing.
Yeah.
And I also remember back then the hop ups, I heard of the term, but they were like crap compared to today. So, they have different versions of it. And it's like, I mean, I had to do a complete rehaul of relearning everything in order to get caught up on what I can utilize, and especially what I want to play in my play style. So anyway, that was kind of interesting. And then I played for a few matches and I got hooked, and been playing it ever since the beginning of this year, or I should say beginning of 2024. So that's my background in it. I only have one child. She's only 4. So depending on how involved I am with this hobby, maybe in 6, 7 years, hopefully she might get interested in it, but we'll have to see.
Oh, it depends. Yeah. The good thing is that if you can take the time to be able to still do it, keep it as a hobby. It's a good hobby. Doesn't require a lot. Once you buy all the gear that you want, it's pretty much really cheap to play, I think, in my opinion, compared to other hobbies. Um, but yeah, you're talking about the weapons platforms. I think it was like 2010 when my son got his first metal platform. It was an AK. It was full metal, and he didn't even really shoot the airsoft BBs. He just wanted it for the replica value of it. And then he pretty much got a couple of other ones. It was like a sniper rifle. We still have that, but the sear's broken. But in like 2022, that's when I got my first one, and it's a polymer. I didn't want the all the metal because it's heavy. When you're running all day long, it gets heavy over time. So I just wanted something that was pretty nice, that had a trigger, something that was programmable, all the modern stuff, right? So I went with probably the worst brand ever, but it's still alive and kicking. It's still like a nail driver. So glad I chose that one. But I've graduated in a sense since then. I've kind of learned to like what I like and what I want to play with and what brands seem to hold up over time. So it's a journey. I know there are a lot of new things out there, a lot of tricky things, what I call tricky things, things that are just tricked out in a sense. Some of the cool new speed soft guns, they look awesome. Those Heretic Labs ones from Wolverine look really cool. Squad mate of mine just got one that he's in love with. I wouldn't mind trying one of those. I don't know about necessarily being able to play speed soft, but I might get one just to have one. It was one of those things. I would have to sell a bunch of stuff though. So as you can see,
Oh
plenty of these
yeah.
things on the collection. So, but it's also a combination of my stuff and my son's stuff. So it's going to grow exponentially that way, right? It's not just my stuff.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And especially with the speeds play style you're talking about. I definitely feel you on that because again, we all like our Pacific play styles, right?
Yeah.
And even on my local field, we have speed softers, and the type of airsoft guns they get, or even the style, like even the style what they wear, is usually pretty consistent, right? And in my particular case, I tried it for one day, and I was like, "Nah, this is not me." I kind of like a little bit more realistic
Yeah.
simulations, like
Gotcha.
obviously Milsims. I mean, I haven't done an official Milsim yet, but that's what intrigues me, right? So everything I do, I try to be real world about it, even if it's just BBs, right?
Yeah.
So it's that's my type of play style. I like more of what would happen, obviously, in an actual situation. But sometimes you can't get that exact feel because I mean, as you well know, when you get in the squad and stuff like that, some people are just there just to chill, others are really serious. You get kind of a mixture, and it kind of flows depending on like what I guess everyone or who's in your squad and also what objective you're trying to achieve. So it can vary drastically. And but I mean, I still enjoy it. I mean, I would like to get into like more of a DMR role or a sniper role potentially. I'm more of a patient guy. I like taking my time. So in this
Mhm.
particular case, rushing all the time, like speed softening, it's not really my thing. But I mean, it's not a bad thing. Everyone has their way, and that's what kind of intrigued me with some of your videos that you were showing on your YouTube. It wasn't really speed soft. I mean, it looked like you're kind of leaning towards the Milsim side of a type of style. And even with your tactics that I've observed, it looks a little bit more realistic, and that's what attracted me to your channel. So
Well, a lot of what I was trying to do there, I mean, I was really just posting like our game footage, right? It's not necessarily, there was no real reason behind the channel itself beyond that. It's just to share it. But a lot of my intent out there is to promote the field itself because it was a new growing field. They had asked us, the Goat Squad, if we would, represent them, and so we became the official squad of that airsoft field. And so I would go out and just try to show people like the gameplay, kind of what it's like when you're there, give them kind of a hint on some of the hiding spots, showing where I'm always at, kind of things like that. Um, and it's just kind of grown since then exponentially. But we do have fun. I kind of personally grew more into the milsim stuff though, So I haven't done a whole lot of airsoft footage lately, and that's kind of my fault. But with the Milsims, it just seems it's like a natural progression because we get to call in airstrikes. Now we have ISR, which we get to use the drones, more like modern stuff, so we can do drops. We can, ask for intel, stuff like that. That's fun. I have a drone, so it's always fun to use that stuff. Having the technical vehicles, so our sponsors there at Doomsday, we've gone through. This is now we're on the second iteration of a technical. The first one was like it was a side by side Segway, the Doominator. We had a roof mount minigun on it. That was fun. We enjoyed it, but it's retired now. And now we have the Banff, the big ass MFer. And that thing fits like the vehicle on the inside, you could fit six people inside it with two in the rear. He's got like the miniguns on each side on these swivels on the doors, plus one on the back. So this last iteration, we just used it. The rear gun was facing the rear, so we're going to try to see if we could swing it around the other way, and get rid of the rear gunners because they're really inept. There's no use for them. I mean, they can kind of protect you, but most of your battle in a technical is just like rolling up on a squad, trying to take them out before they hit you with a tag, and stuff like that. And that's another thing I like about the Milsims is using taggings, like throwing a tag at somebody on a local field's fun. It's just a grenade, right? But being able to launch a 40 millimeter at somebody is way more fun.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
And I'm curious on a moving vehicle, like how do you take the vehicle out, or do you? Is the vehicle kind of
You take it out with a
invisible?
grenade or with a launchable. Like they
Awesome.
launched tennis balls at us. That was something that was taking our vehicle out. But yeah, you can get hit by taggings, chalk rounds, stuff like that. Or
Excellent.
if they can get any sort of grenade near you within a 10-foot radius.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I was curious about that, but yeah, that actually sounds pretty fun. I would totally dig that.
Oh, it is a
Uh,
blast. You just can't shoot BBs at it. You don't want to hurt the driver,
yeah.
take their eyes out by accident or something. So, but it's pretty fun. A lot of guys put a lot of money into those vehicles too. It's not just run what you brung. They're carefully put together, um, like tens of thousands of dollars, dude. So,
Going back to what we were just saying, we can pour as much money we want into this.
yeah, you just open it up, just sprinkle money on it. That's airsoft.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, if you're starting out from scratch, it could certainly seem overwhelming for beginners on what
Oh
exactly
yeah.
you need to get and stuff like that. But you could start small. I mean, you could start with very inexpensive options. I mean, me personally, I say as long as you have eye protection, and again, my personal feel, but eye protection, mouth protection of some sort, um, and then some sort of like doesn't have to be anything, but just some sort of covering of something on your chest or sensitive areas. I mean, that's all you need, I would imagine. So that's like what I'm just guessing, but about 50 or between 50 to $80 just on that alone. And then maybe the gun, maybe another 50, $80 on top of that if you get the cheapest option. So
I'm kind of like on a balance against that. Yeah, if you're like trying to get in, you just want the bare minimum, you can get in real cheap. But I've kind of learned over time, it's, especially with like the replicas, something that you're going to use, just get the Gucci gun. Don't don't nickel and dime it because you're going to end up like spending all the money that you could have spent on the Gucci
yeah.
gun, you know, building that pyramid, right? It's like, man, the one regret I have, I could knock out like two or three of these easily that I don't even use, you know. So it's one of those things. But like you said, it is easy to get into. There's all kinds of sites out there. You can get great deals on stuff all the time. You just go to a field. And that's how I got my first used pew was just out of field. Guy had this DMR of all things. I was like, cool, gave him some cash for it right there. Ended up selling it to another friend. He just needed it for parts. So it's like, here, I'm never going to use it. I ended up buying a new one. It's one of those things. Take a loss, call it a day. Um, just try to make sure the losses aren't very high each time. That's about it.
Oh, that's pretty cool. You mentioned earlier that you don't get into much airsoft lately, but you've still been doing mil sims. Um, is there any recent mil sims that you attended?
Yeah, we just did a Milsim. the name of it. Serious Viking in December. I'm sorry, it was before Christmas. I was drawing a blank. Yeah, December 6th. It was Serious Viking. That was a 3-day event. I was on a technical the whole time. I My initial intent was to like kind of be on the ground, but I got there and someone immediately asked me to be a TC on their technical. So we ran probably about first bit of the morning on one vehicle, and then another vehicle showed up that was he had been down, something was going on mechanically, and so he wasn't in the round, and then all of a sudden he comes back into the game, but he had no gunner, no, he didn't have a TC or a gunner. So I grabbed my buddy and we jumped on his vehicle and finished out the whole weekend on that thing, and we pretty much had a blast, just running around, constant loops, just going around harassing the players, get taken out,
Some
bleed
players.
out, return to respawn, and rinse and repeat pretty much. Uh, the tag and launcher that he had was fun. It was the HPA tag and launcher. So you just keep going all day long. Just keep switching out tanks if you need to. And his company, he actually makes rounds that work with these launchers. So I had just fistful of rounds that he was giving me. I was just reach down into a pouch, pull out a round, and reload. Shoot, it was great. We had a blast. So shout out to Cherub Milsim. Go check them out, Cherub Milsim.
Oh, very cool. Is that a yearly event that they do, or they
They
do
do Serious
multiple?
Viking yearly. Yeah, they do. So they do a whole circuit of events, but Serious Viking is pretty much on the roster. It's typically been like mid to late end of the year. I think the one I did the first time we went was in September, I want to say, and then they just pushed it back to December this last time.
Do they had a lot of attendance? They usually have
Oh
huge
God, this one
attendance.
had over 700 people.
700.
It was like
Yeah.
720 was like one number I heard that got thrown out there at the end during one of the op briefs or one of the command briefs. So yeah, it gets serious.
Over
You're out there in
700. I
massive
would
platoons.
imagine the map would have to been like pretty large.
Oh, it's a very large area that we're at. Very large AO. It's a huge government training facility. So that's out in Georgia, Perry, Georgia. Um,
Oh, excellent.
yeah, like tier
You,
one elements for the army and stuff like that go out there and train. So it's
okay, good
pretty fun
deal.
place.
And
Yeah.
that's in Georgia. So your home base is in Alabama.
Yeah,
Is
I'm in
that
North
correct?
Alabama. Yeah.
North Alabama. Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Just
cool.
outside of Huntsville, Rocket City.
Huntsville.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a remote office there. I actually go there like once or twice a year. So
Next time you're here, give me a shout out.
actually, I think I will. It's
We'll
kind
go
of
play some
funny.
airsoft.
Yeah, that is. Oh my gosh, it's a small world. But anyway,
Oh
we can
yeah.
get, we can get it out later. But cool, good to know.
Yeah.
Um, Other questions I have is that I could be mistaken, but I believe you have multiple YouTube channels. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, so I have my squad, the Scream and Go squad, and that's like my personal thing just from playing airsoft and stuff, which I do post some of the Milsim stuff when it's the squad kind of oriented stuff. But along my journey of going to the Milsims, I met someone else and he's a creative film guy. So he also has YouTube where he's doing airsoft and all this stuff. So I was like, hey, let's team up and do some stuff together. So he took this brand of his and created ComCam, and I partnered up with him. So now we have the ComCam Airsoft as well. So that's where you're going to get more in-depth kind of journalistic point of view. Um, Less of the like first-person GoPro. I went out and destroyed a bunch of kitties on the field today and didn't call my hits, kind of running around bullshit, right? This is more of like a mix of behind the scenes, a mix of just like a press point of view where you just see from like the eyes of a camera lens just embedded with a squad, but we're actually like we're combat ready, we're there to shoot people if they're shooting at us, kind of thing. But we're still trying to document that squad and kind of what they went through, what their plans were, what their mission was, like what happens when you get wrecked, all these things, right? So it's been fun. And actually tomorrow, a part of the series that Comcam has been working on is about to drop from front lines, and that's part of that in-depth kind of focus. So look out for that. Comcam Airsoft right there on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely. Do you mind if I share my screen and I start showing some of your YouTube channel and also Comcams as well?
Yeah, go right ahead.
All right, give me a second here. Make sure I have the correct one. All right, let me know when you can see the screen.
You got it, bud.
All right, awesome. So I'm showing the first one here, Scream Goat Squad.
Yes.
And you have quite a few videos here, over about 90 or maybe 90. Um, One of the things that kind of caught my interest was this one right here, playing a new military base layout in Doomsday. That was
Yeah,
kind of,
so they just built that up. So this field's a haunted attraction. To give you a background on that. So it's a haunted attraction. They started letting us play airsoft there. And so they started building up kind of a mix of making a fun place for us to play airsoft, but something they could also use in their haunt. And we had these locations like kind of set up that we just called the military base and stuff like that. And so they redesigned a lot of that this year for the most recent haunt back in October. So that's kind of what I was showing there was like, hey, here's the new base. Don't get it confused with the old one because the old one was in like a wooded area. And so it was really just to focus on that. But that's really what this video is going to give you is kind of an in-depth view of the new part of their field.
yeah, I loved it. And of course, we'll show it here in a second, but there was also a couple of things that you were doing which caught my interest. Of course, we'll get into that here in a bit, but
Okay.
like how you're laying down on the corner of the fields. I thought that
I
was
got you.
ingenious, but yeah, we'll get into that here in a second.
The lazy prone.
All right, can you hear it? Can you hear the audio?
What's up, guys?
Sure
It's your
can.
boy Rooster here.
Okay.
Today, I headed out to Doomsday for some casual airsoft action, and the boys didn't fail to deliver. Some of our homies from Team Veritas even made it out to play a few hours with us. I met up with Brian and his son, as well as a few other members of their team. So starting off in this first round, our team was tasked with defending this area now known as the new military base, not to be confused with the old military base in the woods. This is a whole new reconfiguration on the field due to the new haunt this season, and we really enjoyed playing around this new area within the city. It's actually located between the farm area and the old city area. In case you're out here, you might get a little confused. If they're saying military base, they now mean
Yeah, because this is the new military base that you're referring to right here.
Yeah, so you've got this helicopter and it's sitting on top of actually there's a Humvee underneath there. You can't see it really from this angle because I'm above it with my drone, but yeah, it used to just be some like wooden pallets and walls and things built into the woods. So we really wanted to highlight this new area, which it's a mix of a lot of things going on there. And there's a Jeep. He's got like a little fake tank out in front of the gate there guarding it and everything.
Yeah, that looked pretty slick because when I was reviewing this, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to visit this field because it's
It's
just
fun.
it looks pretty
Look,
intense.
there's so many angles, so many places to just post up. Like it's crazy for like DMR. I mean, there's so many areas on here for a DMR guy to just post up and just, I mean, it's like fish in a barrel. I have this one guy's a sniper on our squad, and I mean, two of them actually. It's kind of like they're out there just competing each other for numbers to see what they can get in each round. It's just so fun
Yeah,
because a lot of
wow.
the kids are just running around. They're not looking for what's coming. You know, they get focused on, say, that military base. They'll look at that helicopter and be focused on that area and just be getting schwacked from one of those buildings or something all day long.
I could definitely see that happening. And of course, we over at my local field we call them rentals, even though they're
Yeah,
not
that's
really
exactly what
rentals.
we call them.
Yeah, so it's basically
It's
the ones
universal,
that
bro.
yeah, yeah, that's pretty funny because
But I
I'm
don't
not
want
trying
to.
to
I don't
be
want to degrade them. But yeah, that's what it
yeah,
is.
yeah,
You
we
get a
don't
lot
want
of
to
the
degrade them.
walk-ons or the rentals that you can tell they're new, right? It's
Yeah,
like,
and I'm not trying to be mean, but I usually send them in first so you can spot out
oh yeah, oh
the
yeah.
positions of the enemy team.
That's what a lot
But
of our squad guys learn. We'll be like, hey, go take that whole group of kids and go teach them how to be murderers. You know,
that is pretty funny. It's kind of
Operation Human
universal. Yeah,
Shield. Yeah.
yeah.
in this new area, so pay attention to that, guys. Anyways, here's a little bit of the action that we caught while we were there. All right, starting out, Brian and I, with a few guys behind us, decided to skirt around this box van here because it gives you a good line of sight to the barn area and the other trails in the woods where we thought the targets would come out. We only engaged with a couple of these guys that did take those trails, and then we kind of got stuck with nothing to shoot at. As you can see, I run out of the van, there's other 2 or 3 guys on the ground, and there's really no targets around us. So I decided to jump over to the other side of the field. Currently we are on what will be considered the right side of the field to us. So I moved over to the left side where there seemed to be more action going on.
You guys see him back there?
Yes, they're behind that building.
Behind the building, the cabin?
Yeah, that cabin, we couldn't get it here.
You guys
So
can go
this
around
is
these
like a
bushes.
known
Straight
kill
these
lane
bushes.
right here. What's just funny is like these kids will all perch up here. It's just a known kill lane. So if you're on the other team, the object is to get into that corner, and as like a DMR sniper, or even anybody with a good mid-range AEG or anything.
Yeah,
You
you're
could-
referring
yeah.
to this corner over here.
Yeah, man, you could pretty much own that corner back there, and anyone coming down this lane is just going to get schwacked. Like it had gotten so bad at one point. I don't know if it was. I think it was this game or maybe another game, but same day I think. One guy did finally own that corner, and literally we would come out from spawn, wouldn't make it 50 feet before you're just getting knocked out. Boom, cat. Boom, cat. It's like, oh man. So I learned my lesson that day.
Just to stay low, and you can shoot across them. If y'all go together, it's even better.
East, come.
All right, we'll shoot some cover fire. Shoot cover fire at the corner of that building. These kids are gonna run over on this side and flank them.
He's dead.
He's dead. Hey, you could go all the way down that lane, and you can shoot across to hit that guy.
That's it, all right? I'm gonna go back on the road.
I see him now. He's wide open. You see him? That was a hit. He just reacted to it. He's on the corner of the cabin. He's in black. Looks like there's another shooter out there with him.
Yeah, there's 2 of them back in the corner.
I got him pinned on the corner. They won't crest. I'm doing my own version of talking guns.
It's interesting because you're providing covering suppressive fire.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious why they're not just taking advantage of that and just moving up.
It's mind-boggling because they're just not experienced, and most of those guys are just wallflowers. You know, they get stuck to something. They just don't want to get hit, or they're afraid of getting hit. I don't know if they're afraid of the pain or they just don't want to go back to respawn. You know, it's one of those things. Like, man, you can get revived. Most of the time, we have revive rules, stuff like that. And that was the whole point, kind of some of this video. I was trying to egg these kids on, like, if you go down this way, you're gonna be able to see them better, and you're gonna hold them down a lot better. And they just would not, for the life of me. They would not listen. They would not go anywhere. And so that's where I was doing talking guns because I could sense these guys. I could hear that. I'm thinking, all right, they're listening to me. I'm talking to him. He's gonna go down there. I mean, one kid did embed himself in there. He ended up getting taken out. So I'll give him credit.
Yeah, at least he took initiative to move forward. I mean, that's,
Yeah,
I mean,
and I think
that's
he's
how you
actually
learn.
one of my junior squad guys. So I was kind of proud of myself. I was like, okay. So yeah, he's smart enough to like get up into this brush that's up on the left side. There's like some trees right there. He was like deep into that, and a guy with HPA took him out from across the field to our right, like from the perspective we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
Same guy got me.
Yeah, and that's what I love about this field. Like you were describing earlier, it's like a DMR or a sniper heaven type of
Oh,
field.
yeah.
So it's
Oh,
that's oh man, this thinking.
You could definitely get to test out your ghillie too, like all different styles and patterns,
especially in
and
the
things.
bush here. Yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah.
And this place through the seasons, it'll change colors, so it's really cool, you know. Like I'm using it's a fleck turn pattern from Novrich, and it's perfect for here, uh, as long as it's green.
As long as it's green, yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw one of your, I think one of your junior guys going up here on the left.
Yep.
I got all this shit and I ain't got the rest of the Can't say, Desmond, don't talk.
If he got hit, they probably got him from that corner back there. There might be a sniper back there too.
Drop your gun, Logan. Watch that side.
I don't know where he's getting hit from. Oh, we got a guy in the bushes right here.
Is this friendly?
They got me inside.
Hey, shout out to Team Veritas. They shot me from the woods on our right side, through some brush, nailed me right in the face after just taking that kid out. I should have known better, but I needed to find out where they were, and I did, so I'm kind of glad I took that hit.
On that one.
Sometimes it's sacrificial for a reason.
I know, right? I do the same
Tactics.
thing. I just intentionally throw myself in the fire just so I can identify their position, and then
Yeah, and we weren't far from our respawn, so it was like, I'm gonna run up here and see if I was gonna try to revive the guy, but he come walking out, and I'm like, well, too much for that, you know. And then they nailed me instantly, and my assumption was it was coming from the corner. And a little bit of background about this match is, so my squad guys were on the other team, and it was like two of the sniper guys that I was looking for. And one of them, that's who ends up getting me, only because I ran dry. I didn't even know my mag was dry. I
where
got
you
the
thought
drop
you had
on him.
him. Yeah, you
Yeah, I
thought
was
you
just
got
like,
him, but
oh, and I wanted it so bad just for bragging rights, just to mess with him. But he ended up just pegging me with his pistol. It's like, oh, man. Well, by the time I get back down there, someone else had gotten him. And that's when I ended up owning that corner. So I was like, hell yeah, that's good. Either way, somebody got him. Would have loved to have been me, but oh well.
and this position right here, it also caught my position or caught my attention. You were laying back. It looked like you were laying all the way back, and you're just pointing, you're pushing your head up to point your rifle. That's what it looked like.
So for me, it gives me more mobility. I didn't want to get into like a traditional prone position in case someone comes up from behind me. And also like having the kit on, sometimes I never know like how much of my load's there. So sometimes it gets uncomfortable. So I just lay down and kind of lift up, just kind of set up like doing a sit up. You can get a pretty good bit of stability that way. It's just airsoft, you know. But it did help because I think I was wearing that fleck turn. I have the boonie. I think that was on, so they probably couldn't see me through that brush there, and me just barely coming up. I'm like probably 2 feet off the ground at best.
Yeah, it's certainly, I mean, like you said, it's airsoft, so this particular position could use or could be utilized in your advantage. I just didn't think of it before. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's different. That's something that I could potentially use. So that's
Well,
pretty cool stuff.
in your area, it'd probably be like behind those barriers and things that you guys play with. If you're ever in the woods, yeah, it could work there that way as well. But out in the desert plains, man, you got to get down in the prone. But I don't know, it might work out for you just laying down like that. You're
Yeah.
going to show a lot of your torso versus just being down, showing your, in the prone from a like looking at someone in the prone, you get like a tiny little triangle of their head and their arms up a little bit, right? So
Yeah.
with me doing that, you're going to get my whole top torso. So it's probably not safe in the open area.
Yeah, as long as you have covering.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
cover.
At this point, I'm thinking these kids don't quite understand what I'm intending for them to do. So eventually, after fiddling around with these guys on the corner of this cabin, I make it down this lane. I have to get down into the prone a few times. I even made a modified position for myself by just laying on my back and then leaning up forward and taking some shots, which ultimately I was able to get the hit out of that. So So as I reach the corner of the property, I'm still down on the prone because I can hear the distinct sound of my buddy Wolf's sniper rifle. That's another story. Anyways, I know it's him, so I come up
So
from the
an
brush.
idea of
I
that
take sight.
sound. The sound is like a laser. It's like you can hear the report as it's going by. It's like, shoo, it's like this echoing laser sound. And I started, and the reason I recognize it because like just before this match, we were out just test firing his gun. And he was like, he's always playing with the silencer and what's on the inside of the silencer. So I had walked out like 100 feet and he was shooting it. I was like, okay, sounds pretty dope. And then yeah, so I'm out there in the field and that I hear that sound and I'm like, oh man, I know exactly who that is. I just didn't know exactly where he was. It's like, oh man, I was actually getting nervous.
And that's pretty funny where certain sounds you can identify that's a certain personnel. So that's
Well, it's just, I mean, it could have been any other sniper, but it was just, I mean, just so happened we were testing it earlier and I was like, sounds exactly what I was just hearing previously.
See this kid behind him, so I go ahead and eliminate that kid first. As I point my rifle and start firing at Wolf, I'm getting really curious of why he's not calling his hits, and he's shooting me with his pistol. Turns out I was empty. He wasn't. Anyways, he sent me back to respawn, and I was able to come back to this corner after he got taken out, and I was able to hold this corner for the rest of the game.
I know I hit him. You sure?
You always got to ask them if they're sure of themselves. Just in case.
I was crossing there for like 15 minutes. Shot right in the head.
So
hey, I want to give a
I'm shooting this kid,
DJ.
man. I swear, I'm like, I know I'm pegging this dude. I know what this rifle will do. I know how far the BBs will travel. And I'm like, that's why I stop. I'm like, am I dry again? Because I'm not using the indicator mag and I'm just popping and my gun's silent. So it's like, I really have to know. And so I was like, as soon as I get back in the mag well, I noticed like dude's running at me. So I got so lucky that I got all that done just in time to take him out.
Oh, nice. Right on the last second.
Yeah.
Hey, our newest member of the Go Squad. He's a local ref, and he decided to charge me, even though he wasn't prepared to stand against the MTW and these .32s pushing through this brush. I give him props for giving it a good go. I even shot his buddy back there. I don't know what he was thinking. Should have been shooting me the whole time. Anyways, good shot, bud. Nice try. Maybe next time.
Nice.
Yeah, it was actually like I started feeling bad. I was like, am I spawn camping? And in a sense, because it was going way further than that boat, and I saw them like running from it. I was like, ooh, their spawn was probably another 20 yards past that.
There's at least one up here that I just saw. Is that it? There's at least two back there. Ran out of ammo. And that's good. Good timing.
He was shooting all around me, just couldn't hit me.
And it looked like the BB was slightly curving down right when
Yeah.
it was near your position.
It was, and nailing it was like hitting the target in front of me, perfect. Just enough to let me know he's still shooting at me.
Push it right out, y'all. In front of y'all. Take a shot.
Yeah, they are.
He's dead on that left side.
I hit. I don't know. Okay. God damn.
So now this is me playing with one of my squad guys.
So we're
this is
playing
Shadow.
at this corner still, defending the military base. I'm peering out behind these barrels, and I see two guys. I shoot one in the chest. He calls hit. Turns out it was Chris. Chris, man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to shoot you in the back. If you could see here, I'm laser focused on this guy on the corner of the building, and I'm just shooting him. I'm actually looking down the sights. You can't tell because my GoPro's above my eyes, and I'm just shooting at this guy. You come walking right in front of me, man. I tagged you. I'm sorry. We love you, brother.
He was salty. So salty. Like, dude, you walk right in front of me, you're gonna turn around and say it's just a game,
Back
Rooster.
at the military base, hide behind these barrels. I meet up with Shadow. He's a sniper from the Ghost Squad. He's down to his pistol because he's at close range. I come up thinking I'm going to give him support with my DMR, and turns out I'm low on ammo because I'm only running 2 magazines. And both of those are 130 rounds each. I probably didn't top them all the way off, so anyways. He hands me a sniper rifle, and then I have a little bit of fun there before we end this round, and that's pretty much where we left this phase.
So this rifle's pretty well tuned. It's a nail driver. It's just amazing how these guys can matrix around all the bullets and stuff, you know?
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks pretty good. I mean, hands down.
I think he's actually running a bolt that I sold him. It's a stalker bolt that
know, that
goes
was
inside the Novrich.
Got that one. Oh man,
There's some rentals.
you'd be all right, man. This would be the
Tons
one
of
time
them.
you need them, right? Yeah. I'm like, damn it! Come out there, my fingers all lit up.
I think yesterday they had 120 rentals at the field.
120.
Yeah.
That's so,
Random
so
Saturday
there's so
in
many.
January.
Did they all just run up at the same time and try to overrun the enemy's position with sheer numbers?
Right. You'd think, but they just kind of small groups go this way, small group go that way. Maybe onesies and twosies just running all over the place. It's insane. It's insane trying to ref it. I feel sorry for all the guys that had to ref that today.
All right. So go ahead and show this other YouTube channel here, ComCam Airsoft. Is there anyone in particular you want me to show?
Well, the most recent stuff is Hell Yeah, which is the guy that started ComCam. He's ComCam 1. So Hell just did the Sirius Viking. That's a tier 1 night thing. So you'll see a lot of night ops there. Most recently, we went to Crossbones together. I mean, any of these. It's pretty much so the night stuff's going to pretty much highlight like more of like the behind the scenes of us going with them embedded in with the squad.
Let's check that out.
Special force or elite force.
Oh, that's a pretty good icon. Did he design that himself?
Yeah. Got the patches made and everything. So
No, looks pretty
I
slick.
typically have that one on here for ComCam, but I thought I'd rep the squad.
Yeah, if you have patches of this, let me know where I can obtain one. I'll be more than willing to purchase one.
Just shoot me an address so we can send you one, bro. We'll hook you up.
I
We'll get you
appreciate
a little patch package together. We got all kinds of patches.
All right, sounds good. And again, just tell me what the cost is. I'm more than willing to cover for it.
Doing the basics well. Okay, just a Green Beret puts his pants on the same way you do. Okay, he just rehearsed the hell out. Okay, complex mission in a complex environment equals simple way to fuck it all up. Well,
So this is actually a PVS 14, like with green phosphorus on a camera, on a Sony camera with a adapter. So sometimes it'll be in great focus, sometimes it's not because we're having to adjust it manually. So he's out there just filming through NVGs.
Ah, nice.
It's
And this
not
is-
like, it's like purposely through a camera lens.
I mean, it still looks pretty slick. I mean, it gives the feel, if that makes sense, especially with the green. So that certainly is different. I know that there's certain individuals out there that actually go for the high tech stuff. And I think there's like night vision that you can get for like what in the like $5-6 grand, something like that, even up to 10 grand, I believe. Is that what
These
the
aren't
normal cost
quite
is?
that high, but you're getting in that range. I mean, decent used pair, for thousands. Yeah, but
Yeah, pretty cool
yeah, I mean,
stuff.
it can get pretty serious, and that's what we're up against at some of these Milsims. Some of the guys with the bigger budgets, you could rent this stuff at the Milsims, which is a good way to get your feet wet on it. Is just to go and get a rental package for like a 3-day weekend. It's like 200 something bucks for everything you need to get going.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
200, it's not too bad at all. I might actually give that a try if I'm ever been given authorization to go out there. Because on my side, I have to get act of Congress approval for anything financial. So
I think AMS does stuff out in your area. So the Milsims we go through is Third Coast, and they're mostly on the East Coast. They've gone out to Texas, and we're going up to North Carolina, but we haven't done anything in Midwest or anything like that.
all right, cool. I'll definitely try to look up, especially around Texas or even in Georgia area, because I'm interested in going over there. It's just a matter of getting financial approval and timing. And
Yeah,
all
you'd
that
want to
stuff.
do Starburst out in Texas near Fort Hood, I think. You'd want to do that one for sure. That's because the setup there, it's a mount site. So that's a military site set up for the kind of operations that you're going to want to perform in a Milsim. The buildings look really cool. Reminds me of a lot of stuff I've seen downrange. So it's pretty cool.
141 conducts focus raids to attack and destroy militia cells and assigned objectives in order to rescue captured U.S. embassy staff and eliminate responsible militia fighters. Oh shit, I think that might be a friendly. John's the password. Call it out. Use it. Okay? 6. Ready. Right? Plus, you already know if you see any people trying to come out of the tunnel in big groups, obviously, guys, you know that that's going to be 10, right, Green? Same thing, 10, 16 boys clear these buildings right here. You know that's going to be them, all right? Have positive identification. It's going to be dark, okay? I know some of you, they got nods, thermal. Please, don't just shoot it, whatever the heck you think you know. Have positive identification, all right?
All right, let's go. Good for this family.
There's one hostage. You're looking for one hostage.
I'll try not to kick the door.
All right, go ahead, go.
I'll try not to kick the door down.
A couple of fellow YouTubers that are out there playing Airsoft. A little bit of role play there.
Every single building in this complex is just like this. So if you're finding this extremely hard, it is. This is a level 3 mount site. It is hard. Okay? This is going to get you to get your heads on a swivel. Okay? Communication is key. Do not think you can clear a room by yourself. All right.
Good, yeah, right.
So
Now let me cocky,
if you want
man.
to pause for a second, so that's Coach. Coach is actually a veteran, and he's like the real McCoy. He spent some time with a lot of units, a lot of training sites, done a lot
You
of training himself.
You referring
That
to
guy,
him right here.
yeah, that's Coach. So that's something you're going to get at a Milsim, like with TCA. You're going to get real hardcore veterans that have really spent some time in TOE units at that level, in leadership roles and in certain levels of training schools and things. And he's probably done this so many times he could give these instructions with his eyes closed. So that's something you're going to get from this kind of Milsim. Not all Milsims are the same, right? So they call them Milsims just to get the tickets sold, right? And I've learned that over the years. They tend to be military simish, but it's not Milsim. So like this is during what they call their tier 1 night, which is the Friday night. It's like the opening to the main event, so to say, where like all the teams. So normally you're like green versus gold team, but you kind of come together to fight an opposition force, which they provide as part of their staff. And these guys had role players and they had all these scenarios, and we had an op order all these sitch reps and all these warnors, fragos, and all this stuff was provided. So it gives you that immersion. For guys that never have done it, it might be confusing. But the more you go to them, the more you'll pick up the lingo. You'll understand what's going on. You can kind of play the game, kind of the LARP of it, right? At the end of the night, you're just out there trying to shoot people with airsoft guns in a sport, right? But you want to look and feel tactical while you're doing it,
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
a smart way to do it. And I don't know if I still have that video up, but there's the not so smart way to do it. We had these guys. We were at this site a year ago from this event. I was with the squad. We had just gotten taken out by an admin. He came in and hit us with a JDAM. Boom, whole squad's dead in the building. So we're sitting there with our red lights on, going through the bleed out period. All of a sudden, door gets kicked open. Like 6 dudes or more pile in. Boom, 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 boom. They're just shooting up everything. It's our team just blasting a bunch of us who are already out. And it was just like, man, that was not the way to clear a room. I mean, you had no idea who was in there. And a few of them got whacked by some other guy that was just kind of walking in to try to help us. And it was like, man, it's insanity. So you get a mixture of stuff like that.
No, I can only imagine. It's and thanks for mentioning about the different variety of milsims, because to me, I originally thought a milsim was a milsim, but based upon how you're describing it, it's kind of milsim-ish.
Yeah, they're not all the same.
Not all the same.
I look at it like the command structure too. Like, what do they have? Do they have medics on hand? Are these guys trained professionals? Like, do we have real scenarios, or is it just a scenario event, right? Like, because there's scenario events that call themselves milsims, and that's fine, whatever. But what's the scenario? It's really just an airsoft scenario game. There's no real command structure. Like with these guys, you get a battalion command structure. You have command meetings, all these things. You get a talk center, right? You get your tactical operations center. You get all this stuff that's like typically in a line unit, and it all works together well. Like we're running the Ares Alpha app, right? So your commanders are looking at live battlefield data, and they're trying to move people around on the field. It could be as fun as you make it, in a sense. Some guys go to the milsims, they don't even know that stuff's there. They just go out when they say go. They go take their 2-hour long lunch in the middle of the day and they go home.
2-hour middle lunch.
Some of us go in, we like, all right, first thing you do, you go hit the talk, you ask them what their intent is for like the first hour of the game. You kind of get mission orders from them. Every time we respawn, we'll go back and say, hey, where do you need us? What's going on? Stuff like that. And then we'll go just have fun.
Oh, very cool. Very, very cool. It's very appreciative you giving this insight, because it certainly is definitely information that I wouldn't have assumed unless someone told, or I probably would have assumed unless someone told me about it.
I mean, you get your more hardcore stuff like the Milsim West side of it. It's just like, sounds to me more like a suck fest. It's like, how can we just go make this suck for 24 hours? Where you don't know what your role might be. They're just like, you're gonna go be on ammo duty for 8 hours, have fun. Or
yeah, I heard there's milsims out there that last up to 48 hours. Is that also a thing?
I haven't been to one per se. I wouldn't doubt there's one like that. I know there's challenges and stuff like that I've heard of, but I haven't been to anything 48 hours.
Okay.
I mean, I've done all this stuff in real life, so I would not want to go simulate it for any reason whatsoever. At this point in life, like,
yeah, you just want to have fun.
I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
Yourself.
Funny. Right. Good, yeah, right. I'm gonna be cocky, man.
All right, there it is. I'm happy.
The quality of that's not too bad.
Gives it a nice grainy look.
Yeah.
Here. Second.
last man.
I thought this was hilarious. What do you see versus what do you hear? Right. So imagine being whatever enemy force they're looking for inside of this building. You're going to hear these guys coming from a mile away.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
You hear all that crackling?
Yeah, the cracking in the background.
Yeah, I'm like, these dudes are going slow. Hell, you might as well just run in and do it, bro. There's no tiptoeing through that one, homie. They know you're there.
That is funny.
Stack up, start slicing that pie, get in there and make it happen.
Yes, it's hold on.
Nod, hold trucks too.
Reach her up. Reach her up. Reach. Reach her up.
Don't backlight him, son. Bounce it off the roof or something.
You go. I should be good.
I'm gonna be in the middle. Give it a countdown.
3, 2, 1, 3.
Door breach. Boom, boom. So that's something you can get at Milsim. Like, you won't necessarily find that at your local airsoft field.
I'm sure that's pretty loud, especially indoors like that.
It's extremely loud.
Yeah, so it's really
I have
important to have
one.
some sort of ear protection.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely. We carry. So I have this Walker Razors, the headphones. They're on mounts. I got the Gucci gel certs, but yeah, they're a lifesaver because we were in a room. Everybody set up to breach it. God, there were probably 15 of us stacked up in this room, like all on the perimeter of the wall. And man, was that loud. Even we had the door open behind us too, and it didn't help. It was pretty loud. What I would call a hot charge. That thing was, it blew up really nice and pretty. Sparks everywhere. I think
Nice.
one of my guys was with me. You could just see the look on his face. He did not see that coming. I didn't see it coming either, but it was like, whoa, that was the sound of it got me more than the light, you know. You could feel the percussion in your chest.
We gotta open that door. We gotta push in the road. Roger. Ready? Ready. Moving. Moving. Third squad. Take the hallway. Take the tunnel.
First squad, take the tunnel. Push.
Third squad. Take the tunnel. Go.
Hey.
Here we go. Why y'all
Hey, where's my preacher for second? Hey, preacher for second platoon! Preacher for second, where you at?
Back up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. It's it, right?
If you're third squad preacher, fall back in here.
I'm moving back. All right, go. Crossing.
Ready? Ready. 3, 2, 1, execute! Wait. What's wrong? Ready?
Right here. All right, y'all ready?
Ready? 3, 2, 1, execute!
Go! First squad, go fast.
Nice.
See, so that started out cool, but they stopped.
They hesitated.
That's the worst thing you can do, man. Like, I don't know why they stopped, and there's still really no excuse unless some grenade was coming at them or something.
Hey, watch that corner. Watch the left side. Watch the left side.
Now you get to see what I get. Without getting stopped. Fucking awesome, dude.
He's dead.
Oh, he's dead?
Oh, let's keep moving.
One platoon has the hostage.
Baby. I got no weapon.
That's pretty cool.
Oh man, I got a buddy. He's on a 13-hour subathon thing that he started. I forgot that he was doing that. I'm at to watch him after we're done here. Give him a shout out. Uh, Sean Wayne. He's one of my squad mates. He's an
Nice.
active YouTuber. He's doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah, he's into all kinds of things. Riding mini bikes, driving cars, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. You never know what they're going to come up with. Some airsoft here and there. Fun
That's
things.
pretty cool. You're gonna have to maybe after the podcast, feel free to share me to his YouTube channel. I'll be more than willing to check it out.
Yeah, I'll drop you a lot of links. Whatever you need. So
Yeah.
that mission, it was pretty fun. I had kind of sat down with some of the guys at the end of the night there and got their summary of it, but they basically went through all these buildings, cleared buildings. They were looking for hostages. They ended up finding like embassy hostages and like an ambassador. I think they found one BOA. They had to like go through this building, like through a series of them. So you think this is like hundreds of yards throughout a period of time, right? Like football field links that they've gone through into the city, and they've got to extract that person. So they were like, at times they were sending out like one team, go extract this guy, get him back to the start point, or and then they have to fight like a technical vehicle in the middle of that. So they're on their one little route back, all of a sudden they're under fire by a mini machine gun on top of this vehicle. Just pops up and starts spotlighting you all of a sudden. So it's fun stuff. You never know what's going to happen with those tier one missions. And the guys that are creating it, they're trying to keep it along the lines of like modern warfare and stuff that they're getting back from real time stuff that's going on, like with the war in Ukraine and in any of the operations that are out there active right now, which is cool. Especially with like the drone warfare. So a lot of guys picked that up. Yeah. So the last few Milsims that I've gone, there's been things falling from the sky exploding. Like before, that never happened. Now they've opened it up to allow us to drop mortars on each other. So that's something I'm looking forward to.
So to clarify, at least what I've seen on YouTube, where the drones drop like a little plastic or what do you call it? Terrafoam, some sort of foam bomb, right? Where it kind of simulates an explosion. But what you're referring to is an actual like one that actually explodes and creates a sound. I understand that,
so what I'm going to be using, I think I have some of those snaps somewhere. It's like snaps, right? So we throw them, they impact, they pop. So it's like a foam and a 3D printed missile, right? Little mini dart. And so that'll come and drop in the tip. That's where you put those snaps. And when it hits the ground, it'll make a little bit of an audible feedback. You get a little bit of a recoil or a sound back on that. And then they might be able to see it actually flash a little bit, but as long as it's within a 10-foot radius. And typically there's an admin around, so they typically are pretty good about, if people don't see it, they'll let them know they just got taken out.
We
had
those foams. Oh, go ahead.
Well, recently we had that happen. Like there was these two technical vehicles, and they were near their assembly area, their start point, and the other team flew a drone over, hit them both, and they were like, "How are we? How are we dead?" It's like, look, it's an open battlefield. Like they didn't see it coming. Just weren't paying attention. So nowadays, if you hear a drone, look up. Right, they may be dropping something on you.
Well, with those drones, are you able to hold one payload or can you hold multiple? How does that work?
I guess it would really depend on the drone you have, how much weight it can carry, what sort of dropping system you're using. Like mine's a mini drone. I just got a cheap on-off dropper. It just opens and closes. That's all it does. So I can only carry whatever will hold it, right? So it's like up to a pound or something. So I'm just, once I get over target, I just release. That's it. There's nothing else to do. I was just discussing something with the squad mate about that, of like getting some sort of secondary function, like with RC controllers, like a typical when you have multiple channels that you can control, but like with DJI, you get like a couple of extra buttons. And with the dropper that I have, it uses the light that's on the drone. And when the photo sensor senses the light turns on, it actuates the arm. So I need to figure out some secondary actuation to make like a door that'll open up
Open
and
up, yeah.
close it. Yes, because you can drop snaps and you can drop BBs, you can drop all the stuff that whatever is approved by the Milsim, the host. Because they were dropping stuff like that on us. It's like it was like 10 millimeter BBs that would typically be in like an EG-67, the little paper grenades.
Yeah.
Uh, so that and some snap sounds. You could see it sparkle and hit the ground. It's hilarious. Like
I can
I don't know.
imagine
Yeah.
sometimes they could surprise people on the ground, like, what the hell?
Well,
What
it
was that?
was yeah. They tested it in the parking lot. It was the most insane thing. It was like, dude, nobody's cut on iPro. He just dropped all this stuff on everyone. It was insane. So that's stuff you have to look forward to.
So my next question is, when you see a drone, can you take it out, or how would you take that out?
You can't shoot at
You
the
can't.
drones.
So it's
No,
basically like
just get
what's
the
that
hell out of the
say?
way.
You got out of the way. I gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
just run, man. Get under cover, let it go by. Because I mean, they have one chance. So you could stand there and wait for it, and then get out of the way real quick. It'd be the smartest thing because once they release it, you got a few seconds to dance, right? Just being able to see it coming because if they're dropping from 200 feet, probably not going to see it coming.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
that's the hard
Especially from
part.
200 feet, you got like I would assume maybe a few seconds.
Yeah,
That sound about right? Yeah. Okay. So
yeah,
enough time to react. It's just knowing that it's coming ahead of time is the key. So
exactly.
yeah.
Because luckily I had my Sony with me when I was filming, and that guy with that dropper had come like he was over me. So I look up and I'm able to zoom in, and I see his payload. And I'm like, all right, I'm getting out of here. I'm on under trees, so he probably wouldn't have wasted it on me. But when you're out in the open in a wider area on these fields, you're kind of screwed.
Kind of more of an easy target.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what I think I'll enjoy with mine. Being able to recover it. So I want to be able to recover it. So I probably won't drop it in really dense areas. I was talking to my squad about that. It's like as a ISR guy, like I can carry the drone with me. If we're worried about an area ahead of us, we can send that over just for intel, just to see what's ahead of us. Or if they need to call it in from another location, as long as they're willing to walk through the dead and receive my it'd make it much easier, but I'm willing to lose them if they're cheap enough. I think they probably end up costing about $10 a piece. That
Jeez.
the fun that I'm gonna have out of it if I don't get it, I'm not gonna be sad.
Probably more priceless.
Yeah, it's priceless just to nail that kill because I'll capture it on film and be able to show it.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah, good
Very, very
times.
cool. So the next question I have is like your setup in the back of your room here. Did you do that yourself? Did you mount it down at the wall yourself?
Yep, just got some slat walls, the best price I could find them for in the black color, and
Black
just put them
color.
on the wall, man. They're literally just screw right to the wall. Found some studs. I
Yeah,
painted the wall black so it kind of blends in.
blends in. Yeah,
Yeah,
because it looks pretty slick. That would be something I
nice.
would like to have once I have approval from
Yeah, the
Congress.
slat walls they weren't cheap, man. It's like nowhere you go you can find them cheap. I just like kept shopping around and waiting for like Black Friday deals and things like that until I found black at a cheap enough price. So you can almost buy an airsoft gun for the price of these stupid slats, which
I
it
can
shouldn't be
imagine.
that way because it's really not very complicated.
Yeah, and not just that, it looks like you have a little bit of lighting control on the back.
It's just a
Um,
couple, yeah, it's a couple. They're like lights for like a probably like painting or something,
and yeah,
and they're adjustable. And they're just LED rechargeables. Works
yeah,
out for
that's
display. I probably want to put more lights somewhere. Really, um, I'm almost wanting to put more slat walls up because of the collection and how it's growing.
yeah, because I would imagine it's just going to get bigger and bigger, and then
Yeah,
before you know it, you have an entire room of it.
I'm running out of space. I mean, what you can't see off camera, right? So is the other wall, like the where I have the two kit hangers holding my kits, like my
Yeah,
son's kit and then my kit. Um, so I could probably put more slats there and just relocate those kit hangers somewhere.
that's pretty cool. I'm jealous. I'll be honest. I'm jealous.
You'll get there, man. This is like, years and years of stuff.
Yeah,
It
jeez.
accumulates. I save money. How, other than airsoft, I don't spend money on much anything.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm in the same boat, but then again, in my particular case, I have to have approval. But yeah,
how
because
long have
I
you been
don't.
married?
7 years.
7 years. Okay. You'll still have to ask for approval throughout the life. I've got 21
Yeah.
years clocked. But it gets easier. The good thing is like get her into something that she can be so enthralled in or whatnot. So she doesn't worry about you so much. You
Yeah,
know.
and the thing is, this is the only hobby I have other than video editing, and that's it. So it's not as
Well,
if I. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I mean, stick with the video editing. I mean, I like watching your stuff. Like, if it's a passion, you're only gonna get better the more you do it, right?
Yeah, I
That's
appreciate
always
that.
something you can do at home without her worrying about you, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Late at night when everyone's asleep,
Yeah.
some time for me to work on some videos. Yeah, and I appreciate your feedback on that on my videos because not sure if you noticed, but at least on the gameplay aspect videos I've been posting, they've been slowly been progressing. So you can actually clearly tell that on each version I'm releasing, there's actually a new stepstone of advancement that I'm doing.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm not static. I'm not just pumping out videos of the same exact editing
Right. It's
configuration.
not the same. They're not really the same. And I do like a lot of the overlays and stuff that you add to it and the captions and
Yeah, and
things.
there's a version 2 coming out, which will be,
Okay.
I'm hoping it'll be coming out next week. We'll see. But there's a version 2 of the HUD overlay. And
Okay.
also I'm going to be releasing a version where there's radio communication embedded into the video. So a little bit different. It's
I've
not
done
what you
that
hear.
quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I've
little
made a
bit
lot of
different.
parody videos that I haven't shared on my channel. That yeah, we had a lot of fun with stuff like that.
Yeah, and again, it's just me progressing from one to another to another. So
Yeah.
that's the next version I plan to eventually release. And then after that, I'm not sure if I'm going to release this next video or not, but I mentioned briefly about my foot injury or my foot surgery, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, what I didn't get into is that it was kind of skittish with the foot in the very beginning of the year when I was first getting into airsoft, but throughout the year it's gotten significantly better. And of course, I think it's because of me continuously using it. And but
Yeah.
my
Physical
problem
therapy.
is, yeah, exactly. My problem is that sometimes I don't realize how much I'm pushing it. And there was a day when my foot failed, literally
Mm.
failed. I
Hmm.
couldn't use it. Any type of pain, or let me rephrase that, any type of pressure or weight on it, it would just instantly hurt. And it's not on the ankle, it's on the foot itself. So it was interesting. And
Hmm.
I actually captured video of me collapsing while I was running. It just suddenly gave out. I collapsed right down to the ground. And then
I've got stuff like that too, man. My knee
it's
dislocates
just
itself. So yeah,
it's
just
just
boom, fall right
um,
over. I'm like, oh man, my gun.
yeah, my gun's laying there, and
Yeah.
people's like, "Is he all right?" And then someone comes by me and says, "Dude, you okay?" Like, dude, I can't get up.
All right, I'm gonna
I
need you to
can't
help
get
me
up.
back to my car.
So he drags me off the field, and I have that on video. I don't know if I'm going to post it or not, but it's it shows a little bit of what happens
Yeah.
in real content, right?
What
So
happens when your body fails you? Yeah, I feel that. I
yeah,
feel that, man. I was doing one of those sniper rolls, all in my suit, chilling in the woods. Go to bend down, and knee just said, "We're done today." And I'm like, "Yeah."
yeah,
Look around to see if anyone saw it. Just kind of brush it off.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. But I have
good
to give
stuff.
Fox Airsoft, the local field I'm playing at, I have to give them some credit because their staff immediately took action and they immediately made sure I was taken care of. Everything was
Right on.
fine. They were really proactive about it, and even other members of the field, they made sure for one that I wasn't getting hit by BBs by accident. And there was a little bit of protection around me while I was being escorted
All
off.
right.
So it was kind of cool, a little bit of a real world, but it's
Call
a
that a
little bit
blind man
different.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So again, I may or may not post that, but we'll see. But that's potential release as well. And of course, as you well know, I'm getting the podcasting now, and so I've been posting a lot of that lately. And that is also kind of interesting. I didn't expect like some of the individuals that seem interested to get into it,
Hmm.
right? Starting from scratch. I mean, one or two episodes. Who's going to join in the podcast, really, right? And I started noticing that, but especially close colleagues of mine have connections with other individuals that they certainly want to be proactive and they certainly want to be helpful onto the channel. So that was kind of cool to see that, you know,
I mean,
especially starting from
here we
scratch.
are, bro. Right.
Yeah, exactly, right. and how we met on X. I mean,
Yeah.
you saw something on one of my posts, and you're like, "Hey, I'm going to add that guy," and
Yeah.
that kind of went from there.
I think it was
So
Pew. I think it was Pew Diary. It was his fault because he was like, "Where's all the U.S. airsofters?" And I'm like, "Well, we're here, bro." And I think I saw you a comment or somehow it led me to you. And I'm like, well, hey, here's another US based airsofter. And then here we are, so.
yeah, definitely. And hopefully in the future, as my opportunities progress, I'm hoping to start visiting other fields in other states, and therefore the one that you're at that caught my attention. So that would be definitely one I would like to schedule to go out. And of course, if I do, I'll obviously let you know and your crew know that hey, I'm coming out, and hopefully we can organize something.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like you said, you travel here occasionally. So that'd be a good chance to pop in on a weekend. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
definitely. And get to
sometimes,
meet
so
you face to face. Yeah.
if it's in the summer, sometimes they do like Friday night games. So I mean, even if you're down here on a weekday, if you're not able to make it on a weekend, there's always opportunities.
Well, yeah, quick question out of curiosity. When you went to Milsims in other states, did you always drove or did you flown?
We're driving. Yeah, I'm
Drive.
driving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was just
Luckily, I got
curious.
a hybrid, so that helps
Okay.
on the gas. But yeah, driving. So we're going to North Carolina on the 17th. That's a good, probably 8 to 10 hour drive for us, depending on stops and all that. So I'm probably going to swing over. It depends on if ComCam goes. I might have to swing over, pick him up in his area. So that's like 4 or 5 hours from me. And then we'll head north, up into North Carolina.
Oh,
So
very
that's gonna be
nice.
fun. Yeah, I'm taking another squad mate. He's probably an hour away from me. He'll land at my place. We'll take off and head north from here.
Yeah.
And
Oh, very
then
cool.
yeah, hopefully everything goes well there. We've been up there before. We went to the there was a mall in Durham. It was Operation Thunderdome. So that's happening again.
Thunderdome. I heard about
Yeah.
Thunderdome. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Pretty
Oh, it is
intense.
cool. And that's happening again. So that was what, 5. So Thunderdome 6 is already scheduled to go down pretty soon. I just saw a flyer on it not long ago. But because I'm doing Operation Iron Fury there, Thunderdome is out for me. It's a lot of driving, I don't want to drive that far, but I'm willing to do it sometimes. Because right after that, we come back, and then in March, I'm going to Stonebreaker back in Georgia. So it's the Government Training Institute, GTI, big field, big open area. There's going to be helicopter. I'll be on a Huey doing insert, so that'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. I'd
that's
love to
another
see
thing
footage
about
on that.
Milsim. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I'll be all GoPro'd up. I might carry my handy cam as well. I don't know. Depends. Because last time I did a helicopter insert, we were on a little bird and I just did the GoPro. I was shooting an LMG that was provided me by GNG Armament, and the daggum battery was dead like within 2 minutes of the flight. It's like, man. So
2 minutes.
yeah, it's like, dude, the whole flight I'm just filming the other guy. Like, have fun. But luckily, because I was a paratrooper in the military, I've literally jumped out of Blackhawks. So I've been in a lot of helicopters and things. So I wasn't totally brokenhearted, but I really wanted to enjoy shooting people. And if I had just taken my own weapon, I'd have been fine. But they were like, hey, try ours. And I'm like, cool.
Christ.
It shot wonderfully for the first like 3 seconds. And then that was done. Like, man,
Oh,
next
that's
time just
funny.
take an extra battery or something.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. All right, well, cool. Yeah, I was just only curious if you drove because if I go down to Huntsville, I'm going to be flying down there. So I'm like thinking, what can I bring with me, or what am I authorized to bring with me?
Don't bring
And
anything. All you gotta do is just say, I'm coming, man. We've got everything you'll need.
all right, excellent. Yeah,
Like
good deal.
the vendor, they're a vendor, so we've got plenty of pews. Between the squad and all the stuff we have, you can just tell us what sort of platform you want to play with that day. We'll bring you one.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
I mean,
Yeah.
you might want your own face mask or something. Your own.
Yeah, because I was
Bring your
thinking
kit.
about like
Yeah.
if I'm because it's a plane and of course people are sensitive. So am I even allowed to bring a chest carrier? I mean, it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it
A
would
buddy
be
of mine just
perfectly
flew down
fine.
from New York State. He flew down to the Operation Series Viking. That's all he did. He brought his kit. We outfitted him with weapons and all that stuff, and
Okay.
had a
All
weekend
right.
of airsoft.
So
Yeah,
I can at least bring the kit,
yeah.
but the weapons and
I mean, you
everything
can
probably
bring your
needs to stay on
pews, but you got to go through that whole.
the whole ordeal, which I don't want to go
Yeah,
through. You know.
Not when
So
you know you have someone that's going to outfit you. I mean, you can take it if you know, but if you don't know someone, but I mean, all you gotta do is hit me up. We got plenty of stuff.
all right, excellent. A good deal. Yeah, appreciate that.
Not a problem.
All right, well, cool, man. Well, it was awesome having you on. I mean, it, especially when you got into the Milsim stuff, that really intrigued me. So I really appreciate you getting into the details on that,
Glad to help out, man.
and you coming on and showing your field for a little bit. I mean, it's pretty cool, hardcore stuff.
That's a fun field. So if anyone's in the area, if you ever get a chance, check out Doomsday, man. I mean, it's like one of the only places that we have left that's so active. The other place shut down, unfortunately. The guy retired. So unless you got to
Yeah.
drive for hours and hours like I do to go to Milsim's, yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, well, cool. Well, for the audience, check out Screaming Goat Squad on YouTube. You have some pretty good content, and hopefully, you know, if you're open to it, maybe in the future I can invite you on for another episode.
Right on. Got a lot of guys in the squad that can join as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd be more than welcome to have them on. Feel free to direct them my way, and we'll get something scheduled.
Sounds good.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks again, sir, and you have a good night. And again, you know, um, I was about to say an ending phrase, but now I kind of ruined it. So what I was about to say or trying to say is that you have a good one and stay safe, especially with those BBs. So,
All right, man. You too, brother. Appreciate it.
all right,
Good luck to you.
all right, you too.